My mom kicked me out because stepdad and his kids hate me, but I own the house. My mom looked me in the eye and said, "You need to pack your things. Rick doesn't want you here anymore." I looked from her to my stepdad. He stood with his arms crossed while his son, Tyler, leaned against the hallway wall wearing a smug grin. His daughter, Emma, held up her phone like she couldn't wait to show everyone what was happening. I'd spent the last 2 years fixing up that house after work and on weekends. New flooring, fresh paint, a rebuilt deck, and countless repairs. Yet somehow, I was the one being thrown out. I didn't argue. I simply said, "Okay." That answer seemed to disappoint them. The truth was, none of them knew something my grandfather had planned years before. After Grandpa passed away, everyone assumed my mom inherited his house because she was his only child. Even Rick believed it. She didn't. Grandpa left the house to me. He'd watched my life after my parents divorced. When Mom married Rick, everything became about him and his kids. If money was tight, my activities were canceled first. If there was room for only 2 gifts, Tyler and Emma got them. Mom always had an excuse. They've had a difficult childhood. So had I, but nobody asked. Grandpa noticed every little thing. He was the one who showed up for my baseball games, taught me how to repair broken fences, and helped me buy my first truck. When he updated his estate plan, he never mentioned it to anyone except his attorney. The house was mine through a trust. Mom could live there for the rest of her life, but she couldn't sell it or give it away. I would become the full owner when that agreement ended. She begged me not to tell Rick. "It'll just start arguments," she said. So I stayed quiet. A few years later, Rick lost his job, and they asked if they could move into Grandpa's house permanently. I agreed because I thought we could finally feel like a family. Instead, Rick slowly acted like the place belonged to him. He rearranged rooms without asking me. Tyler filled the garage with his junk. Emma turned Grandpa's workshop into a storage room. Whenever I complained, Mom always defended them. "They're getting comfortable." I was the one paying the property taxes, homeowner's insurance, and every repair bill. When the roof needed replacing, I spent over $15,000. Rick told neighbors he'd paid for it. I let it go. Then he started making plans for expensive renovations. One evening, he spread drawings across the kitchen table. "We're opening this wall and remodeling the kitchen." "Who's paying?" I asked. "You are." I laughed. He wasn't joking. "My house, my rules," he said. Mom nodded like that settled it. I looked around the room and realized I didn't recognize these people anymore. I refused. The atmosphere changed overnight. Rick stopped speaking to me unless he was criticizing something. Tyler blocked my truck in the driveway. Emma left sarcastic notes around the house. Then came the final conversation. Mom told me to leave before the end of the day. Rick stood beside her like he'd already won. I packed every tool, every box, and every piece of furniture I'd bought. Before I drove away, Emma made sure to record me loading my truck. That turned out to be a mistake. I drove straight to Grandpa's attorney. After listening carefully, he opened the trust documents and pointed to a clause I'd almost forgotten. Mom's right to live in the house depended on allowing me full access as the legal owner. If she forced me out, her occupancy rights ended immediately. The paperwork was filed the next morning. A process server handed Rick the court documents a few days later. He called me shouting that there had been some mistake. "There wasn't," I said. Mom called crying. "I didn't understand. You signed the trust papers after Grandpa died." She had no answer. Their lawyer challenged it anyway, but the case didn't last long. Emma's video clearly showed them ordering me out of the house while my belongings were placed on the lawn. Their own evidence proved exactly what had happened. The judge ruled that Mom had violated the trust agreement. Her right to stay ended. They were ordered to move out within 30 days. Rick left me angry voicemails every night. "You planned this." "No," I replied once. "Grandpa did." A month later, I pulled into the driveway. A moving truck was parked outside. Tyler avoided looking at me. Emma quietly carried boxes without her phone in her hand. Rick loaded furniture into the truck without saying a word. Mom stood on the porch holding one of Grandpa's old flower pots. She walked over slowly. "Can we talk?" I looked at the front door. "I've got work to do." I walked past her and unlocked the house with Grandpa's original key. Inside, everything was quiet. I carried my toolbox into the workshop they had emptied before leaving and placed it back on